Good morning, Kearns High School. It's Thursday morning, and that means it's time for our school-wide math self-start. Today we're going to be reviewing what we've learned so far. So get out a piece of paper and get ready for some practice problems on things we've already learned. First, we talked about integers. You'll remember Mr. Fike helped us talk about integers with zombies being negative integers and plants being positive integers. And when they battle, we end up with a certain number of either plants or zombies left over. Try this. If we have -8 plus 5, or you can think of it as 8 zombies and 5 plants, what will the answer be? Since the signs are different, we subtract the values of the two numbers, and since the value of the negative number is bigger than the value of the positive number, the answer is -3. A negative times a negative equals a positive. Why is that? Well, let's compare it to negatives in English. What does it mean if you tell your parents, "I refuse to not do the dishes"? That means you insist on doing the dishes. Refuse and not are both negative words, and using both of them in a sentence is like multiplying them and turning them positive. Don't forget this rule as you multiply these 4 sets of integers together. Please don't use a calculator. I'll give you a few seconds to complete that. Did you get these answers? 7 times 8 is 56. -6 times 3 is -18. 12 times -5 is -60. And a negative times a negative, -4 times -9, is +36. When we talk about order of operations, we often use the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," to help us remember what order to do things in. The letters help us remember PEMDAS, which tells us we should do parentheses first, followed by exponents, then multiply and divide from left to right, and then add and subtract from left to right. Try this problem without a calculator. First, we do the computations within the parentheses. So we have 2 plus 3, which equals 5, and then we have 4 minus 5, which is -1. Next, we will do the exponent. So the only exponent is going to be -1 to the second power. -1 to the second power is 1, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Next, we will do multiplication and division from left to right. So we have division first. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Times 1 is still 5. Last step is any addition and subtraction. So your final answer should be 17. In this next expression, we need to find the like terms. 12xy might have a like term in this expression. Do you see any other terms that have exactly the same variables? 7xy has the same variables, so we can combine these two terms together. Next, we have the term -18y. Do we have any terms that are like terms with -18y? 16y is a like term. -18y and 16y both have the variable y, so we can combine them together. -18y plus 16y is -2y. The next term that we haven't grouped with anything else is -3x. We have a -8x with the same variable, so these are like terms and can be combined together. Adding two negatives together, -3x and -8x, combines the negatives to be -11x. So the final answer is 19xy minus 2y minus 11x. The next concept we talked about in our self-starters is the distributive property. Please use the distributive property to simplify this expression. Negative 8, parenthesis, 3x plus 2xy minus 5y. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Did you get negative 24x minus 16xy plus 40y? Notice how the variables all stay the same, and we just multiplied the numbers through the parentheses. The last thing we did was factoring. Don't forget that factors are numbers that multiply together to get a bigger number. Let's start by finding all of the factors of 72. Then we're going to do something a little bit more difficult. We're going to find the greatest common factor. That means we're going to find the biggest number that divides into an expression with multiple terms. Did you find all the factors of 72? There's a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36, and 72 are all factors of 72. Let's look at the expression negative 24x minus 16xy plus 40y. The greatest common factor, or the biggest number that will divide into all three of those terms, is 8. So when we factor this expression, we divide out that greatest common factor, 8, and then we write down the remaining numbers that are left in the terms. So negative 24x divided by 8 is negative 3x, and negative 16xy divided by 8 is negative 2xy, and 40y divided by 8 is 5y, giving us a final answer of 8, parentheses, negative 3x minus 2xy plus 5y. This is exactly the opposite of using the distributive property. Great job, Cougars! Some of my students requested that I give a few problems that are a little bit more difficult. Problem 1, you're just going to find and factor out the greatest common factor. Problem 2, I actually want you to factor out 3 pi sine x. Good luck! If you figure them out, come let me know.